All right, we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and whenever you're ready.
Dang, here we are. You're listening to another episode of You're Human. This is episode 10. So if it's your first one, welcome. If it's your eighth one, you got two more to listen to. And if it's your 10th one, you're right on par. So this is the live call-in show where you can call and we can talk about whatever. Um, so we've been doing this podcast for about 2 months now. If you're listening and you want to call in, we are streaming this. I know it's on Facebook right now, but if you want to hear the questions and everything like that of people who do call in, make sure to go over to the YouTube channel, the Dakota Meyer YouTube channel, not the On the Dash YouTube channel. Very, very important. Knives will throw that in the comments somewhere, I'm sure. And if you want to call in because you've got a question, you've got a comment, or you have a concern, you can call 512-523-5609 and send it. So, what's up, Knives?
How you doing, sir?
Living the dream.
What's this week look like for you?
So training, and then Monday I just got out of a ropes class. So finish that up. That's what I was doing all last week. Just a ropes class, which was really really awesome down here doing that. So learning, getting to spend time with some incredible human beings. So this next week coming up, Monday, got taste testing on a special product that we're going to be releasing probably in a couple months. Really excited to bring that to you. Just trying to dial that in. And then that's Monday. Going to do some training. Going to get some swimming in, studying, trying to get through this paramedic school. And then Tuesday, we're going to do the Your Human podcast again, so we can get off these Saturday rotations. So make sure to tune in for that on next Tuesday. I've got a podcast I'm actually doing with someone else on Tuesday. I don't know if I'm supposed to announce it or not, so I won't. Wednesday, I don't know what I got Wednesday. I got something on my schedule. And then really, so the Independence Fund does this awesome program out here called OpRes. So all their people are coming out. They're going to do it at Reveille Peak Ranch, which is an incredible place in Texas. If you haven't been, you should go check it out. And so that evening, I will get to go and speak and introduce myself and really just talk to some badass warriors who are coming out to this OpRes program. This is such an awesome program that the Independence Fund puts on. And then Friday, I'll be heading out to Abilene, Texas, which I've never been there. I think I maybe been there once, maybe, I don't know. But I don't think that there's much there. So I had to look it up. I honestly thought it was in the Panhandle, but it's not. It's up just west of Dallas. Texas is so big, but I'm going to be up there for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm actually attending a paramedic program online, which is really awesome. They've been so incredible. And if I can do it, anybody can do it on this online. And they built it in a way to where I like to call it marine proof. So, so that's kind of what it is. I'll be doing that, be doing my first skills lab on that. And then, just rolling. And then also would like to say that I will be coming out with Hire Our Heroes to Camp Lejeune on, let me check my schedule.
That is awesome.
We coming out to Camp Lejeune on, I'll be there the 21st and 22nd for first responders out there. We're doing a hiring fair. On the 21st, I think we'll be doing a workout. Next time I do the show on Tuesday, so tune in. I will make sure to put the entire itinerary up so you can attend whatever you want if you're in the Jacksonville, North Carolina area, which we'll be doing that with Hire Our Heroes and Toyota. So really awesome shit.
You got a lot going on, man.
Yeah, got a lot going on.
This is an amazing summer for you.
When you want to get a lot done, you got to have a lot going on.
That's right.
It's just how it goes.
Love to hear it.
What do you got this week, guys?
Well, I got an episode of You're Human. I'm definitely working on my own thing content-wise. Appreciate you asking. Feeling myself. This is the best I've felt in months, if I'm being honest. Maybe even
you
years.
Look good.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
You look good. You don't look stressed out.
Well, good. I don't want to feel like that, so I appreciate that. Nobody does. I got a question from Instagram. It's kind of we did ask, for people to submit their questions. Rucking or running? Which one?
Um, just to be honest, like I do more running than I do rucking because it's more convenient, right? Um, I think it just depends on what you're training for, right? So me, like the program, everything I'm doing right now is dialed at a specific goal, right? So I always try to put my goals in place as to the what I have to be every single day, what is most imminent, right? And then what am I trying to achieve long term, right? And so for me right now, long term, I want to be healthy and I want to not die of a heart. Obviously, the things that we should all be focused and cognitive of is I want to feel good. I want to not have, I want to limit my health issues that I'm going to have in 30 years, right? So the decisions you're making today are going to affect your not in 10 years, it's going to be 30 years that you're going to feel, you're going to become insulin resistant because of all the fucking sugar you ate. It ain't going to be in 10 years, right? So, uh, that's the long term piece. I want to be there for my daughters and walk them down the aisle, but then, back it up. Like, every day I want to make sure that I am what people need me to be when they need me to be. And I claim the title firefighter, so I make sure that I'm on top of that. I make sure that I'm in shape for that. I make sure that when I show up on a call, that I am what I have said that I will be for the people. So there's that. That's my kind of immediate, feel good, wake up in the mornings, have energy. That's my everyday aspect, like the baseline of it. And then, like I'm swimming right now. I am going through a bunch of courses. I'm taking my paramedic and I'm doing all that to build towards a goal that I, would like to achieve by the end of the year. Right. And so like, these are all aspects that, I do. So I just think that rucking or running comes down to, if you have a goal where you need to carry something heavy, you should ruck. If rucking makes you feel good, if rucking is a place where you can get yourself to a mental place to where it relieves that tension, right? Or it does something for you and you love doing it, you should ruck. Me, I honestly, I'll ruck, say once every 2 months, right? But it's usually because I don't want to run. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna throw a heavy pack on and I'm gonna walk, right? So just to amplify my walk. But that's kind of it, right? Like I usually try to put these things in on very short times, but yeah, I mean I'm all about it, but usually running, to be honest.
Appreciate the honesty. Yeah. I feel like I ruck every day. I got like 40 pounds. I'm extra 40 pounds I'm carrying all the time. It doesn't count.
Dog.
What?
No, I hear you. That just means that you're fat.
That's the word. That's the word I was looking for.
That's not called rucking.
Yeah.
That I guess you could. That's a good point. Like you could be frontal rucking.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
I'm going to coin that term.
We're going to come up with something on that.
Front rucking.
A front ruck.
Front ruck.
Daily front ruck.
Kind of sounds like something else. Kind of sounds like fat fuck. What's the best quote you've ever heard that changed your mindset on things?
I hear so many. I think that ruck, not ruck. I'm not back on. You got me thinking on my rucking, but I think that quotes are kind of like songs. It depends on at what space or what season of life you're in and where you are mentally, depending on how that song fits to that moment, right? I mean, just to name a few, like, look, I mean, I think I love The Man in the Arena, right? I think that's one that is a huge one, right? I think that Jocko's Good, right? Like the good one. I mean, that one is just, I mean, it hits home, it's fire with everything. It's kind of like Jocko's Good quote is kind of like Freebird. Like it goes with anything. I mean, there's always been, I mean, Mac, all these things that hang on to me, Mac used to tell me, you can only do the next right thing. So like all these pieces, they all fit together and these and they apply. They're kind of like, again, I'll talk about our life toolbox and like they're in that life toolbox. The more of these that you can pull away, the more that you can figure out how they apply. But I would say that one that I use daily and I use it as a filter sometimes is the difference between conveniences or between inconveniences and problems. Like that is one that I use daily. And a guy named Steve Cracky gave it to me, and he's in Alaska, and just such a damn good guy. And I never forget, he told me in his shop, and but it's so true, right? And so the quote that I would say I would stick to is look, the difference between problems and inconveniences are if you can make more money, you can write another check. If you can make a decision to change the problem that you're facing, then it's an inconvenience. The day that your child has cancer, the day that you have cancer, that is a problem, right? So that's kind of like what I would say my go-to is.
I love that perspective. Great answer. I want to make sure that we get to some questions from Facebook here. So we got a call actually coming in. Let's take it.
Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota with the You're Human podcast. Hey, how are you? Yes, ma'am. Awesome. In a way, you're his mom. You know how. You know what I mean? Like just talk to him. Like don't overthink it. Sometimes people put these. A lot of times we put this pressure on ourselves that we have to know the answer before we ask the question, right? And we put this whole aspect that, somebody's seen combat, so I can't relate to them, or because they're a Marine, like I don't know how to talk to them. And it's like we're just the same as you, like, and like you're putting I don't know the whole story, but what I'll tell you is I'd say a lot of that you're putting this unrealistic expectation on yourself of that you've got to know the answers to the questions that you want to ask. And it's like, hey, just ask the questions, right? Just talk, just communicate, right? Like you're his mom, and at the end of the day, guess what he is? He might be a Marine, he might be a combat veteran, he might be all these things, but guess what? Guess what his foundational piece is? He's your son. So I think you're overcomplicating it, right? And then let me tell you what happens. Like, and I'm not saying I don't know the whole story, right? But like you're worried about saying the right thing. He's worried about not making you feel like then he becomes self-conscious of, well, my own mom doesn't think that she can even talk to me anymore. So is it something with me? And it becomes this whole like blockade between everybody of hypotheticals when it's like, I mean, just tell him you love him, right? And hey, I'm your mom, and hey, I'm here for you. Like, I mean, do the same thing you would do if he wasn't a combat Marine. Does he? Let me ask you this: Is he? Not to cut you off. Is he married? Yeah. So here's what I would say. Look, and I see this all the time. I see this all the time, and I've been through it multiple times. All you can do is your part. At the end of the day, relationships are kind of like taxes. Everybody's got to pay their own, and everybody's got to put their own effort into these things. And at the end of the day, you shoot him a text, you tell him you love him, and he can give you whatever he wants to give back. But he also has a responsibility to uphold that relationship as well. just as much as you do, right? And so don't let the burden of him not putting that effort into you and the choices that he's made, resonate or make you feel like you've done something. I mean, you might have, right? I don't know all the dynamics, but what I would also tell you is that at the end of the day, you can only do the next right thing, and just reaching out, telling him you love him, and if somebody can't, this is my thought pattern on it is if somebody can't respond to you and tell you they love you back at a minimum, if you haven't gone out of your way and intentionally done something to hurt him or his family, then he doesn't value that. That's his burden. That's his cross to bear. That's his, you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's a complicated aspect to it. I could probably figure out part of it, but it's at the end of the day, it has. Listen, him not talking to you has nothing to do with him being a combat marine. Does that make sense? Yeah. Well, it has nothing to do with. I promise you, it has nothing to do with him being a marine or combat that's doing this. And so just the fact that you reached out trying to find answers and trying to find ways to relate to your son, um, you sound like an amazing mom. You sound so sweet. And I'll tell you this, I would back up and I'd pray about it and I'd leave it to God, right? Because these are factors that we can't fix. But here's what I'll tell you. I guarantee you, as sweet as you are, there are plenty of people out there who would love to have a sweet mom like you. So that's right. That's right. Well, you're amazing. I wish you the best. And listen, I really appreciate you calling in. Thank you. Oh, God bless you. I hope you have a great day. Bye. What an amazing woman.
It's one of my favorite calls right there.
But she sounded so sweet, didn't she?
She did, absolutely. Leave no mom behind.
Leave no mom behind.
We had a call come in the middle of that, so let's go ahead and give them a call back. This might be Stony.
Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota with Your Human Podcast. What's up? Oh yeah, where are you at? Man, that means a lot. Holy shit, you've done it all.
I can't say I've done it all, but I loved your story because on the civilian side, I work as a police officer, and we talk about courage under fire, and courage, and sometimes you have to disobey orders to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I've used your example a couple of times when I talk to recruits, police recruits. And I talked to them and I go, guys, I said, I'm going to share with you my personal perspective on what transpired with Dakota during his Marine Corps time. I said, he is the guy that when you look left or right, he's the guy that will never forsake you and never leave you.
It's a fact.
And I go, you need to be that guy. And I said, and I tell him, I go, look, over my career, I've been scared to death over a few times because I spent some time in Mogadishu and Iraq and Afghanistan and all these other places. And unfortunately for us on the aviation side of the house, when we weren't doing low-level mission, HR combat zone.
Yeah.
And I remember very distinctly landing in a roadway in Baghdad, picking up a fallen Army soldier and watching the whole thing transpire in the middle of a combat zone, and it was just heart wrenching. But I remember the look on those soldiers' faces when they were taking their fallen comrade to the aircraft.
Yeah.
And it was something I'll never forget. And so when I heard your story, it was one of those things where, and for me it resonated, where you didn't have to be scared you were going to die alone, or you were going to die because somebody forsaked you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, it's really simple, right? You gotta love you gotta love your cause more than anything else, right? And because at the end of the day, like, that's where people get tested, right? Like, do you believe in your cause? And that's where you see people balk, and that's where you see people hesitate. And look, I don't believe that courage is something you're born with. I believe that it's something that you develop by believing in a cause that's bigger than you, and finding something that's worth dying for, right? Like, that's ultimately what it comes down to. It doesn't have to be something cool or sexy or this or that. It just ultimately it comes down to it. And everything that we do is always tested, right? And that's usually why we deviate and vary, move and change directions and change our opinions and all this, because it wasn't a cause that was worth dying for. And I've just been so fortunate to be able to find causes that I believed in. And ultimately early on, I figured out that I cared about people around me more than I cared about myself, which is what I live and die on. Right. And at the end of the day, if I die trying to, or I lose everything I've got by trying to help others, like, all right on, I'm in. We've all got to figure out what that is, and you better know it. You better know it before you get to that situation.
Well, I agree with you, because that's why your story resonated. Because I mean, here's a guy, and being a Marine is a special thing anyway.
It is.
But here you go to a combat zone, and you're with your buddies, and you're willing to sacrifice your life for the sake of others, so that others may live. And I never had to experience what you experienced, but a few times I was close. But
I mean, you do it every day. Are you still a cop?
Yes.
I mean, you do it every single time you walk up to a car you pull over.
That's true. You are correct.
I mean, every single time you walk up to, I mean, a vehicle that's pulled over. I mean, you get close every single time, and I mean, you put on, I mean, you're not a cop because of the pay. You're not a cop because of the work conditions, because it's glorified. I mean, you're none of that. You're a cop because you believe in the, I mean, if you do it right, I mean, you're not chasing a pension probably. So, if you're a cop, it's because you're doing it for the greater good of the community, because you believe in good and evil, and you believe in that over your own, what's best for you.
I agree 100%. And I also love the fact, and I'll change it just a little bit, but
Yeah.
There's an old saying: your life is defined by a particular moment in your lifetime. And for you, and this is why I'm honored to be talking to you right now, believe it or not. For you, your life, your whole life was not completely defined, but your lifetime legacy was defined in those moments that you were saving your buddies. And,
yeah. I mean, I would say, so here's what I would say is like, I think it all that was a proving ground that was just a quiz compared to the test, right? Like, I mean, I think that was a pop quiz. To me, like, that was the easiest day of my life. I mean, it just set the bar for what I'm capable of. And now I got to figure out and make sure that I live up to that for the rest of my life. Right. I'm just fortunate that it happened early on. And I believe that the harder the shit that we go through, and the more shit that we go through, and the more struggles we have, the more obligation that we have to bring others through that. Right. And so, to me, I don't think I've been tested yet. Like, I think it'll come at some point. And I truly hope that whenever I die, that September 8th, 2009 is not what people remember me as.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know what I mean?
That certainly makes sense.
Like,
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think that was like, but it's like you, right? I mean, you're not done. You're not done. Your record ain't over. Like you're still putting on a badge and on a uniform, and I mean, you're still in the fight.
Well, I do still enjoy the job. As altruistic as it sounds, I've been a cop for quite some years because I'm an older guy.
Yeah.
And I still like the fact that, the job is still very effective at helping people. And contrary to what the TV says, you train every day. This is why I watch you when you do Own the Dash. You train every day for that conflict you made arise, and you're in between living your life.
Oh yeah. And you know what? And as long as there's sirens, here's what I tell people. As long as there's sirens still going through your city, there's still hope for good.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I mean, think about that. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about what you provide. Like somebody's in a domestic abuse, somebody's kidnapped, somebody's in a shooting, somebody's in a cardiac, somebody's having difficulty breathing, their child's drowned in a car, or in a pool or something, whatever the call is. When that call goes out and you're responding and they hear those sirens, you're the only hope that they got.
That is true, because I've heard people say that.
Yeah, you're hope. You know what I mean? Like you are hope. And as long as there's people like you, there's still hope.
People like us, not just me.
Well, for sure. People, but I'm like you. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's true. So on a different note, because I didn't even think I was going to get a chance to speak to you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like I said, I've followed you for years, and I've been super impressed with your story. And I finally, you popped up live, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to give him a call.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, but what I do now is I mentor young men and women, and I teach them about life.
That's right.
And talk about those kind of things and everything. So
that's awesome.
Well, look, I know you probably got other people hanging out to talk to you, but brother man, it's been an honor. Semper Fi, and
Semper Fi.
You've epitomized the creed, and
man,
I love you for it.
But I love you too. I appreciate what you're doing. You be careful, right?
Thanks, man.
Hey, have a good day.
Be careful.
Semper Fi.
All right, sir. Bye.
Man, what a good guy. What a good guy.
You said something that I've never heard you hear before, that day was a pop quiz.
Yeah.
What does God have in store for you then?
I don't know. Bring it. Let's go. I'm in.
Oh man. So we got a call in the middle of that. Let's go ahead and give them a call back.
Let's do it. Man, that was a good call. He's a good guy. We got 2 good calls this morning.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota with Your Human Podcast.
Hi, Dakota. My name is Brittany. I just wanted to tell you I appreciate your service. Thank you so much. I was in the United States Navy.
Awesome.
I got injured in 2 days before I was supposed to graduate into the fleet. I fell off a 2-story building and broke my kneecap in half. It tore through my skin, tore through my ACL, my MCL, everything. They told me I'd never walk again. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And I walked the first day I had my surgery, and I've had 3 surgeries on it, and I walk just fine now.
Holy smokes. That you are a rock star.
I'm not going to let anyone tell me that they can break me. I went through boot camp. I went through all this stuff, and I don't even get veterans benefits. Now I do. It took 16 years for me to get veterans benefits. I mean, it's been rough on me, but I look at your story, and I've watched a video with you with Morgan Luttrell.
Yeah.
And all that. And whenever I'm feeling down and stuff, I usually watch you or Marcus' videos and Morgan's just to get through things. I've had a hard go of it. I got diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a disease. I have type 3,
Oh gosh.
and every bone in my body dislocates randomly. My jaws, my fingers, my knees, all my joints.
Wow.
And it's hard sometimes. I just got diagnosed with MS too. So
Oh
it's
gosh.
hard sometimes to just never give up. And it's hard looking back, you know, at a boot camp whenever I was running miles and doing push-ups and shooting weapons and stuff. And now I feel broken. But I look at your story, and what you did is amazing. And listening to your story, the first time I heard about you, you were on a podcast with Jocko.
Oh yeah.
And I love that guy.
Yeah. Jocko is amazing.
And yeah, I'm kind of scared of him. He's a big dude.
You know, he's like a big soft teddy bear though. Like, to be honest, like when
Yeah.
you meet him in person, like he's the most chill, kindest, like nicest, like human. Like, I'll never forget, like whenever I went to go do that podcast, pulled up and I was going to get an Uber or whatever. And Jocko pulls up and picks me and Knives up. And just like, we went out to eat lunch, and just just the kindest guy ever.
Yeah, it's funny. Some of the biggest, baddest guys you've ever seen in your life are just teddy bears.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was at boot camp, and whenever we did they told us this. I don't know if it was true, because it's boot camp, they lie to us.
Yeah.
But when we were doing our swim quals and everything, we had to jump off a 100-foot tower into a 12-foot pool.
Yeah.
And they told us that the guys in diving were Navy SEALs, and if we touched them, they would dunk us and hold us underwater. I stayed away from them like the plague.
That's funny. That's funny. They just didn't want you to jump on them. So what do you do now? So what does your everyday look like?
My everyday is, I have a 13-year-old son.
Oh yeah.
And I take care of him. He's going into 8th grade. I feel completely old, but I'm I live with my grandfather and my son. My grandfather, I'm trying to get SSI right now. It's hard.
Yeah.
They say it's like a 4-year waiting list because of the COVID epidemic and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to do that. But other than that, I take care of my grandfather. I cook, I clean, I take care of my son. I'm pretty much a housewife, but I'm also I'm trying to write a novel about some things I went through with
That's
my
awesome.
son's dad.
Yeah.
And everything. And I'm trying my best to do things, just keep my mind off things. And it's rough sometimes. It's hard.
Yeah. I bet it is.
It's hard to find a light at the end of the tunnel whenever you just feel like everything's piling on you.
Yeah.
And I didn't call to tell you about my problems or anything. It's just,
No, I hear you.
No one understands. No one understands. My grandfather, he was in the army. He was in Korea from 69 to 71. He went to Korea instead of Vietnam, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
But he was Army, and I'm Navy and everything. So you can imagine what that's like in this house.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dickering back and forth. But it's hard around here. In North Carolina, where I live in Western North Carolina in the Great Smoky Mountains. And I'm originally from Texas. I'm from Dallas.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, but living here, no one says thank you for your service. And they look down on the American flag and stuff. It's just.
Well, it's not everywhere. It's not everywhere. You know what I mean?
Everywhere. Yeah, I went to Texas in 2021.
Well,
and I went to my first NASCAR race.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool.
And yeah, I went to the All-Star, and everyone was like, thank you for your service, this, that, and everything else. And I'm not used to hearing that. And it was great. And I want to go back to Texas, but right now I'm kind of stuck here with my medical stuff.
Well, you know what? Like, I hear you on I couldn't imagine. Look, nobody's ever going to be able to imagine what you're going through or what you're doing, right? Like, nobody will. And that's the bottom line. But sometimes when there's not a light at the end of the tunnel, you got to make your own light. you know, you gotta make your own light, right? And it seems like that's what you're doing. And you know, nobody can tell you why you are where you are or what's happening and why it's all happening. The why is an empty question. But I mean, you know, you're getting to spend time with your son. You know, you gotta, you know, there's still positive in every negative. You know what I mean? And that's just what you gotta stay focused on.
That's what I try to stay focused on. And there are days, and I'm sure you understand this. I have PTSD for a different reason than
Yeah.
war, because I never saw war.
Mhm.
It's from domestic violence and
Yeah.
everything. And everyone, it's funny around here. I tell people that I served in the Navy, and they said, "Do you kill anyone?" After I told them my horse story, I was like, I was in boot camp, and then they asked, "Did you kill someone?"
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
people
"Can
don't
you
understand.
think before you ask a question, you know, it's like think before you ask something,
Yeah. Well,
you know."
sometimes, you know, but it's also an opportunity for you to educate them, right? So like, you know, you get to kind of decide like how they think about things, and it's an opportunity and an open area for you to be able to educate them on what you see in the military and you know, and your knowledge on it, right? Like it's all an opportunity on how we want to turn that into a way to educate people on what veterans are.
Yeah, exactly. We don't all, you know, I think some people have this idea if you were in the military, you're a bloodthirsty, you know, killer or something. I was an aviation boatswain's mate. I was catapult crew, and I had my orders to go to the USS Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And I was just, my job was launching FA-18s off of an aircraft carrier.
Oh,
that
yeah.
doesn't mean I killed anybody.
Yeah, no,
You know?
it's an awesome job. I mean, yeah. And so, well, that's good. Well, listen, I'm so glad to hear that, you know, that the stuff that we're putting out helps you. I mean, you're a rock star. You are resilient to no end. Keep crushing it. Like, keep crushing it. Get up every day and keep being you, because the world needs people like you.
I try my best, and you know, I just, like I said, I wanted to thank you because you are amazing, and you know, thank you so much for your service, and thank you for everything you do for veterans and for other people as well.
Well, thank you.
And you really don't know how much you help people, and you've got me out of, you know, your videos have got me out of pretty dark holes.
Well, here's this. So just know this. I appreciate all you just said to me. The world needs people like you. The world needs you. So like, if you ever don't think that, then you're 100% wrong. People need you. We need resilient people. We need people who overcome things. Your son is so fortunate to have a mother who he's watching overcome all these things and still be a mother to him, right? And still find a way to take care of others. And so just know that you matter, and that, like, you know, you ever start getting in one of those places where you don't feel like there's any light, sometimes you just got to make the light, or you got to love the darkness, right?
Yeah.
So it's all good. Well, listen.
Thank you, Dakota, for talking to me, and I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. I hope you have a great weekend. I
hope you do too, and I will watch your videos later.
Awesome. Thank you. Good talking to you.
Okay, bye. Good talking to you. Bye.
Wow.
Golly.
Someone in the comments, Todd on Facebook says, domestic violence is a war of its own kind.
100%. I mean, I tell people all the time, you know, PTSD, like, it has been tagged as it's the worst humans can see. Veterans have had it. Bullshit. When you talk about domestic violence, when you talk about being raped, you talk about those aspects, like, that can't touch, like war can't touch that type of PTSD. Like, you know, and that's what I always go back to is, like, there are people out there, I don't care who you are, that's had it a lot worse than you have.
We got a sort of a question from Bad Dog 313 on YouTube. He says, definitely have a question.
Send it.
I'm willing to ask, but I don't want to offend an MOH recipient, so I'm hesitate to even ask. I'm asking this guy to call in. You know, that'd be great. So we're waiting on that.
Whatever.
Here's a question from Instagram. What do you think of second chances in life, specifically giving people second chances?
I mean, I think it comes down to, I think there's a difference in giving people second chances and being an idiot, right? So, I mean, I think everybody deserves a second chance, a third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance. I mean, that's why it is. Let's see who it is. Hey, what's going on? It's Dakota with your Human Podcast.
Hey, is this wait, is this for real?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, this is Bad Dog.
What's up, man?
I was calling, man. I see the video where it was saying that I don't know if this is true or not, and I don't mean no disrespect, but I was wondering, did somebody really rip your metal off you?
Yeah, one time.
It actually happened. I don't mean no disrespect. I was just curious. I just wanted you, because I've been kind of confused. Sometimes people will make up shit.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they just don't give you the context of it, right?
No.
So was at a 100th year aviation ball for the Marine Corps, right? With the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Barrett, and General Amos. We were upstairs, and there was this Lance Corporal who had never done anything, like maybe had 2 ribbons, was in the air wing and came up to me. I was like, they had me at this one position, shaking hands and all this, like shaking people's hands and stuff like that, and taking pictures and all this. And this kid just, out of nowhere comes up. He was standing in line, comes up and reaches up and grabs my medal. And, you can imagine how that went down. But yeah, I mean, just some punk, right? Just some punk. Like, it wasn't like any other reason, but just some Lance Corporal, like, just piece of shit, right? Like, just some young punk.
I got you.
You know what I mean? But did it in a way to where, like, like, just, I mean, what, I mean, what an idiot, right?
So it wasn't like some seasoned guy who's been on. I see what you're saying.
No. I mean, it was some young punk, right? Like, just some piece of shit. Yeah.
I'm sorry you went through that, man.
No, it's all good.
I was curious. I was even nervous to even ask this because I know you got a huge presence.
Yeah, listen, it doesn't matter. I mean, look, I didn't even know the guy, right? So, I mean, people come up with their own opinions. It's kind of like probably the video that you watch is probably one of those YouTube videos of these guys just taking, all those guys are just propagandists. You know what I mean? They're no different than Fox News or CNN they're all just propagandists, to be honest with you. Like, they put no context with anything. They form an opinion and they go find clips and cut clips to support details about facts they know nothing about.
I got it. I'm glad you answered. It's a shame to see this guy too, that he claimed to be a veteran. It's a shame too that veterans will make videos and put them online tearing down other vets. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, you know why? Because, like, it feeds their. It gets views, right? Like, everybody wants to, it makes them feel good. Most of these guys that you're seeing this from, like, let's see their resume.
Yeah. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
About you than him.
And so it's like, but look, at the end of the day, like, if they can make money and it helps pay their bills of talking shit about me, man, I'm all about it. You know what I mean? Like, I got broad shoulders. I don't even know their names. So at the end of the day, they're irrelevant to me. And like, all my friends that I love and care about in my circle of people like, Marcus Luttrell, Morgan Luttrell, Rob O'Neill. I mean, any of the guys that I respect, they don't know who these people are. So they're kind of probably going after a different crowd that I don't care about.
Hey, Is Marcus as big as he really looks? Because he looks like a big,
Let me tell you something. Marcus and Morgan, because they're twins, right?
Yeah.
Listen, they are huge. Like when I tell you big, like, they're like giants. They're like giants. Like, I mean, like, they are huge people. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, they're huge. But just the kindest, nicest human beings you ever met. What about you? What'd you do? Did you serve?
Yeah, I was Army infantry.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, I went to Iraq in 2010 and 11.
Hell yeah. Who are you with?
It was just one. It was just one deployment. Third ID.
Third
I did get to
ID.
meet some. Yeah, I did get to meet some SEALs, and it was strange. I felt like a little kid backstage
Yeah.
during the '90s, and I was meeting like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. I just felt like, Lord, those guys are just fucking giants, man.
That's awesome, man.
The smallest guy was about a foot taller than me,
Yeah.
and about as wide as the house.
Dude, they're big.
I don't know what the hell they feed those guys.
I don't either. Not the same shit they feed us, is it? Where you from?
Detroit.
Detroit. Hell yeah, dang. What do you do up there?
Right now I'm 100%.
Hell yeah, man.
service.
You good?
What's that?
Are you good?
Yeah. I struggled. I had to stop working. I was working at a homeless shelter for veterans. I was a case manager of all things.
Oh, dang, man.
And,
That's awesome.
I was helping house veterans, but just PTSD just started to get to me, and I couldn't really perform my duties as required.
Yeah.
And it felt unfair. I knew they would have kept me, but it felt unfair that I would have a guy in my face talking to me, and I couldn't even concentrate on what he was saying.
Yeah.
So I knew it was time to go.
Well, man, I hope you get out there and get after it, right? Hope you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you calling. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate everything you're doing. You even answered my question. I'm just a random person.
Hell yeah, man. You're a good dude.
Thanks, sir.
Hey,
Thanks, you too.
hope you have a good day, man.
Thanks, you too, Dakota.
See you, man. What a guy.
I never heard that story before.
Yeah. No, so yeah, we were I mean, just so random. Like,
What year was that?
oh gosh, probably 2013, maybe 13.
Interesting. That's terrible. I can't imagine.
13, 14. I don't know. Whenever, I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably 2000, maybe 2013, probably. But I mean, just like some random idiot. You know what I mean? They're everywhere.
My goodness.
Some idiot.
I'll be honest. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, these people, right? They seem like they're everywhere online.
I mean, they don't, that is the awesome part is they seem like they're everywhere online, but I don't ever see them in person.
That's a fact.
That is a fact, right?
Oh man.
And most of them don't even call in.
They don't call in.
They don't, do they? Right? I mean, they're these keyboard warriors, baby, behind those fake names.
They're gonna take the podcast. They're gonna take some clips and they're
dude, 100%.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Right.
Got a question from Facebook. What's been your experience with the VA? I'm having a hard time getting seen just to get evaluated. I'm going to TVC in Cedar Park on Monday. Do you have any experience with the organization?
The VA is by far, it's like the DMV crossed with, I don't know. Like it's like a worse DMV. Like it's terrible. Like the VA is horrible by far. But the problem is when you talk about these things, right? Like the VA, it's got like kind of like three arms, right? So it's got the your benefit side. It's got your housing, like your getting your VA loans, like for your home loans and things like that. So, but I think both of those are pretty solid, right? But when it comes to healthcare, the VA has no business managing anybody's healthcare. Like they should get rid of the VA system, not the VA system. They should get rid of the VA healthcare system, and they should turn it into a card to where you can go to your, to where you live at locally, to get healthcare. But like you ain't gonna fight it because you've got all these they call them the big four BSO organizations who are trying to keep them in there, right? But I think in probably 15 years there will be no VA. But yeah, that's my opinion on the VA. The VA, I wouldn't take my dog if it was dying to the VA.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that the way you fix the VA problem is you make every single senator, every single congressman, everybody that works for the government has to have the same healthcare system that we give our veterans.
Yeah, that'd be only fair.
Yeah.
a question from Instagram. And by the way, for those listening, our lines are open 512-523-5609. Please give us a call. That'd be great.
And I just want to say this, the VA has a lot of like incredible people working in it. It's not them. There's a ton of great providers. There's a ton of great caseworkers, of people who are they're helping. Lots of great people in the VA, but the VA system as a whole is broken.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, because there are a lot of awesome people who want to do good helping out in the VA.
Of course. I'm sure it's just very bureaucratic, right? A lot of bureaucracy there.
Yeah. Yeah. Insane. And it makes no sense because the big VA, right, in DC, like every other VA is individualized. So it's like they're not even on the same sheet of music. It's insane. Some VAs are badass. There are some individual VA systems or VA places that are really good. Like there are some badass ones, but the majority of it, they are not great. And it doesn't make sense. Like nobody can show me how it makes sense.
Man, why has it got to be this way?
Well, because.
Yeah, the comments, people are just lighting it up. No one has a good thing to say about this.
Nope.
If there was one piece of advice that you would give your younger self, young Dakota, what would it be?
It would be at like this filter. Like I think that like the older you get, the more filters you run everything through, like to how it affects you and how it bothers you, right? Like, the younger you are, every little thing just shakes you. Every little thing like pisses you off. Like you're just quicker to react. And I think the older you get, like the longer your filter is, right? Like your lens is a little bit different. I would just say this one thing that Governor Perry really challenged me on one time, and it just stuck with me, and I use it all the time, is this one sentence. Why do you care? Why do you care? So anything that comes at you, why do you care? Right? Like so-and-so said this. Why do you care? If you don't care, then what's next? Like, why do you care? So that would be, does that answer the question?
Yeah, that's the advice that you'd give your younger self, when it comes to
why do you care?
What did you call it? Not the lens, the filter?
Yeah. So the filter, right? So why do you care? Why do you care? Like,
yeah,
so-and-so said something about you. Why do you care? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Save a lot of energy.
Yeah. Why do you care?
Why do you care? Like, why do you care? Why do you care what so-and-so thinks of you? Why do you care about the weather tomorrow?
Yeah.
Why do you care if it's hot outside?
Right. At the end of the day, the answers are going to be pretty much the same, right?
Yeah.
Like either you don't care, or
and
you
if
shouldn't care.
And if you do, like if it's like, well, why do you care what this dumbass said on his YouTube video? Well, if you do care, then maybe he's on to something. And if you don't care, then why worry about it?
Well said. What do you believe is the most critical quality a leader should possess in today's world?
Empathy. You can only be as effective as a leader as you can be empathetic. Like people like there's no more like there's plenty of jobs out there. So like forcing somebody to do something, like you've got to find a way to make people to believe in a cause that's bigger than them. And like, so if you don't care about them, like they're not going to care about you. You're going to have no credibility, all this. So like, pay can only get people so far. Somebody was always willing to pay more. It's kind of like any relationship. Like, there's always somebody who can give whoever you're with more. There's always somebody with more money. There's always somebody that looks better. There's always somebody that's in better shape. There's always somebody who has more shit. There's always somebody who can be nicer. Like there's always going to be that, right? But like the way you build credibility is through empathy, and empathy is caring about others more than you care about yourself. And so I think that the number one quality as a leader is empathy.
Man, you had that one locked and loaded right there. That's huge.
That was a quick one.
What legacy would you like to leave behind as a military veteran and an advocate for veterans? You think about your legacy at all?
No.
Not really.
No. I guess like I would just like to be an example that that once you serve, like service doesn't stop. There's a contract might end, a job might end, but like service always continues, and you should be serving until your last breath. So that's what I hope to leave behind.
How do you view the relationship between the military and the media, and how can it be improved?
I just think I think the media is all bullshit. Right? I think the media is all bullshit, and I think that really all they put out is shit. Like it's like, again, it's like food. Like, why do people put out, why is there more unhealthy food than there is healthy food, right? Why is there more unhealthy fast food? I mean, because all of it's like, it's all addicting, right? Like shitty food is addicting. Like healthy food's not addicting. You've never heard anybody say, "Oh, I'm addicted to healthy food," right? And so I think that like the media has fell into this trap, and they've started getting paid off of eyeballs, and the more eyeballs they can get, it's kind of like the more products people can sell. So I think that they're in this echo chamber of the more bad shit, the more worry that I can put out there to people, the more I can like people don't want to have to worry about their problems. So the media just force feeds you your problems, right? Like if you don't have any problems in your life and everything's perfect, just turn on the fucking TV and the media, go watch any of the news stations, and they will make you worry about something before you get off, something negative before you get off of, before even they go to their first commercial. So I think it's all bullshit. I think the media has fucked the military and all of us at that.
Whoa, that's heavy.
It's factual.
What do you think is the most important quality for someone who wants to serve in the military or as a firefighter?
What do I think is the most important quality for someone who wants to serve? I think that being willing to put yourself last in every aspect is what that means, right? Like you've got to be willing to truly get, and I'm not talking about saying it. I'm not saying about wearing the t-shirt. I'm talking about getting up day in and day out and knowing that, look, your physical fitness is wherever that level is at is, it's not just you that pays for it. The whole community pays for it. I think that you need to understand that when you're not mentally healthy, when you don't deal with things and your standards drop in your life, then the standards for the entire community drop, right? Because you should be the standard. When you get off that fire truck or you have that uniform on that says, I am the protector of this community, you should be the example of it. They never made one superhero fat. They never made one superhero a piece of shit. They never made one superhero look like a fat fucking slob for a reason. Because when they showed up, people, they felt confident that this person could fix it, and you should be the exact same thing. So I just think that when you become a servant to others in that capacity to where life and death could depend on where you're at, the days of you saying I'm too tired, the days of you saying that I don't, I choose to not be healthy, I choose to sleep in on this, I choose to not work out because I don't feel like it, I don't want to train, I don't want to continue to push myself to be better. Those options are absolutely obsolete. You don't get to be that. You owe it to the next person that's going to need you to have put every bit of your time into being what they need you to be when you need to be it, and to be what you say you're going to be for them, right? That's what I think. Look, if you just want to be a firefighter or a police officer or any of it, and you just want to get a pension, you should walk around your department and say that you just be what you just, same thing in life, just be what you say you are, right? Just be what you say you are. So it's like, hey, I'm just here to get a pension. I don't give a fuck about anybody that calls 911. I don't give a fuck about anybody that needs me or that I could save their life. I just show up to this station today to get my paycheck. I'm just here for a paycheck. You should have to say that everywhere you go. Yeah. Hey, I just drive the truck here today. I really don't give a shit about you or anything else because I don't do anything to show that I do. I'm just honestly, the only reason I showed up today is because I'm getting paid and really I don't care about helping you. You should have to say that. So I think if you're going to serve, then just be what you say you are. Just be who you say you are.
I love that answer, man. I can't think of a better way than to end episode 10.
Hell yeah.
That was
episode
amazing.
10. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. I hope you all have a great week. I'm going to be back here in 3 days. We're going to get back on the Tuesday schedule, the Tuesday rotation, as we call it. I've had like the last few weeks have just been crazy. So we'll be back here at Tuesday at noon. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you call in. Come up with these questions or whatever you got, concerns. And I look forward to hearing you. And I love every single one of you all. I appreciate you all and keep owning it.